Hello, beautiful souls. This is a message for anyone who has been in a situation where they feel like things are not working out the way that they would hope. Situations where you're imagining a certain solution and it hasn't been working out. This message is for anyone who might be struggling with burnout right now, who feels like they've been working so hard and not getting much in return. This video is for people who know, even if they resist it, that it's time for something to change. Sometimes it's hard for us to see the way out of a particular situation. Sometimes things in the external environment feel so big and so pressing that we're stressed. We can't focus on anything else. The only thing in our mind is trying to figure out a solution to this problem that we're having. And Source is saying, it's time to let go. It's time to stop working so hard. It's time to stop trying to control the situation. It's time to give it up to Source. All these problems, all these fears, worries, anxieties plaguing your mind, it's time to just give it all up to Source. It's too much for your mind to hold. You can't keep holding on to all this stress, all this anxiety. It's not good for you on any level. Not good on your mental, your emotional, your physical body even. That's why if you relate to being in burnout, this is important. That's why when you're dealing with some constant stress and you're constantly worried about something, that takes a lot of energy from your physical body. It makes you tired. It makes you ache and have pains. It makes you just feel tight and stiff. So the biggest thing right now is that you need to take care of yourself. You need to prioritize yourself and your health, even though it seems counterintuitive because you're like, I got this big thing that I have to solve, or all these little problems that I need to tend to. And you're like, well, if I don't do something about it, then I'm screwed. And trust me, I get it. Because I'm saying this from like a place of have been experiencing this, and I'm literally in the process of letting go and prioritizing myself and trusting more and more each day. And when my mind starts freaking out, I got to come back to center and realize that the way that I've been trying to fix these issues is not the way that it's meant to be handled. Source has a better solution. That's the thing. And when you're stressed out, is not a good mind state to be in. It doesn't actually help you come up with solutions. It actually limits your thinking. It limits the things that you believe are possible. And so you keep trying to fix something in one, maybe two ways. You tried a few different things and nothing is working. And you're like, is anything I'm doing worth it? And it's like, you got to be able to relax. You got to be able to come to a place of stillness for long enough to be able to see a different solution. Sirens for confirmation. Can you hear that? There's a better solution, and you don't have to try so hard to figure it out. You just have to become open enough to be able to receive it. There's something better that you're meant to be putting your energy into right now. So the first thing is, you got to calm down. You got to regulate your nervous system. You got to take care of yourself. Make sure you're keeping up with all the basic things. Make sure you're eating, make sure you're sleeping, make sure you're drinking enough water. Okay? Make sure you're moving the body. That's important. Again, especially if you're in burnout, gentle movement, but it helps you. You can do things like yoga. I like to do qigong. I like qigong. It's very nice. It's like a slow movement, very meditative, like yoga can be. Okay, so find whatever might work for you to help you move energy, to get your energy flowing in your body. practice mindfulness as much as you can, because being stressed out and worrying gets you out of the present, takes you out of body, and that uses up a lot of energy. And so you got to come back in body, be present, recognize what's happening in the moment. Okay, now of course, if you're in a really bad situation, of course, do what you need to do to get to safety first, right? But most of the time, we're like in the future, worrying about things that we think could happen, and we're in the past, thinking about things that have happened before and projecting that into the future. And so, get more present, breathe. Even if you just start reminding yourself throughout the day to take some deep breaths. Like if you feel like you can't, you don't have time, you can't sit down and meditate all the time, you can always pause for a moment and take a few deep breaths. That is always available to you. Pause, take a moment, notice your surroundings. Okay, I think that's something that I underestimated how good that to be, to just to look around. Because a lot of times if you're really stressed and you're anxious, you've got like tunnel vision. Okay, but if you start noticing things around you, it's sending signals to your body, to your brain, that you're safe right now. And that's why if you know that grounding practice where you name 5 things you can see, 4 things you can feel, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. It's a good grounding practice. So focus on grounding, being more present, regulating the nervous system, moving the body, and start imagining the life that you want to be living. Think of your most ideal life, okay? And don't limit yourself. Think as big as you can get, and know that even then, even better is possible. One of my favorite people on YouTube, Courtney, who channels Zero on the Divinely Aligned channel, she's always reminding us of how she tells herself it's this or something better. And so I like to I've adopted that too, and I like to say this to myself now. It's this or something better. And know that in every stressful situation or whatever you're trying to figure out, if it's not working, it's because there's a better solution. Okay, there's something better. And it's really not your job to figure it out, because you can't figure it out. The mind, the ego, is very limited, right? It plays an important role in our existence as human beings and keeps us safe, right? But our egos try to do too much. And so we got to calm the ego down. Be hey, hun, I know you're stressed out. I know you want to protect us and figure everything out, but it's not your job. Source, our highest self, our guides, whatever, the universe is going to be able to work this out better. And so it's not our job to figure out. We just got to be able to be in a place where we can receive it. And then once we get that guidance, then that is the ego's job to take action on the things that we're receiving. So if you've been wondering how things are going to work out, or if you've been feeling like, yeah, I know something needs to be different, I know that I need to let go, I know that I need to be more present, but I'm just so stressed, it's just so hard to let go. This is where we just got to have a level of trust here. We got to be real honest and recognize, hey, what I've been doing so far has not been working. So why am I going to keep working so hard when it's not doing what I want it to do? Why not just hand it over to Source and see what happens? What do I have to lose? I'm already suffering in this situation, so I might as well allow something new to come about. And that's the way you really got to look at it. You got to look at like, hey, I'm really trying to control this situation and I can't. It's not working. It's only causing me harm right now. And I'm burnt out and I can't do it. And sometimes we feel like, well, hey, every time I feel hopeful and I let go a little bit and I allow myself to relax and I take care of myself, I feel like something pops up, something else happens. And then I'm stressed out all over again, right? And so you're like, I've tried this and that's not working either. And it's like, have you really tried though? Have you really devoted yourself to living more in the present? Or are you still leaning on distractions, trying to get away from the stress, but at the same time, still always stressing? So just say, what if what I'm looking for is already here right now, and I just haven't been able to see it? How would you live differently? How would you show up then? You thought, what I want is already here. Wouldn't you become more present? Wouldn't you let go of the distractions and just be here and see what the moment has for you and just trust instead of questioning? It's not only just special people who receive messages or whatever, have the insights or get the guidance. It's just that you have to tune into it and trust it, because chances are you do get guidance. You have already gotten guidance. You've already been led in certain directions, and maybe you're like, yeah, I'm gonna follow this, and then other times you have a thought, you have an idea, some kind of inspiration to go do something, and then you dismiss it and you think, no, I can't do that right now. I don't have time for that. Like, that was a silly thought. I can't do that right now. Why not? Yeah, have discernment, but a lot of the times guidance isn't going to really make any sense. And you got to switch things up and you got to do like weird things sometimes that don't make any sense, because those are the things that actually lead you to what you're wanting. Those synchronicities, those things that just work out in weird ways. And you're like, wow, if I hadn't have done this, if I didn't go to this place, if I didn't decide to whatever, then this thing wouldn't have happened and this wonderful opportunity wouldn't have came up, or whatever. That's how those things happen. And so you just got to start trusting and following your intuition. And the more you practice that, the better you get at it. And the more you notice. And then suddenly you're like, oh my God, I'm getting messages all the time. Because you've allowed yourself to notice more. That's what being more present can really do for you. It helps you notice more. Just know that things are meant to work out for you. It's already happened. Dude, like, it's written in the stars. You're not meant to live a life of just suffering, or a life of settling for like just okay. Allow yourself to receive it. Allow yourself to believe that dreams do come true and that it can happen for you. Things are meant to work out for you. You're meant to be living a life that you love. So be open to exploring, putting yourself first, taking excellent care of yourself, and following what you feel in the moment, even though it makes no sense, even though you feel like, no, I need to go solve all these problems. Let the problems go. Know that source is resolving that for you, and be present. If there's some action that you need to take regarding whatever situation, you will know in the moment. So that's where I'm going to wrap this up. I love you. Thank you so much for liking this video. Please consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.